Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to As You Pass By. My name is James West, and I finally found my glasses, which I had to wear my substitutes yesterday, which didn't look so good. But anyway, this is part two of the installment regarding the synagogues of the Lower East Side. In the title, I refer to it as the East Village only because it's sort of more recognizable to most people these days. But in the 1940s and 30s and prior to that, it was definitely known as the Lower East Side. And as we sort of weave around from 6th Street and down south of there, the number of synagogues significantly increases. And for instance, on 4th Street alone, there are still, they're on the map of synagogues in the Lower East Side. There are about 15 or 16. There are still quite a few there. There's, I would say, over 10. On one block of 4th Street between C and D, there were 4 synagogues in a row on the north side of the street. There's nothing left of those 4 synagogues. But anyway, we'll get into the details as we walk along. I'm going to keep the introduction a little shorter today, only because I don't think it's the most entertaining part of the video. And anyway, so please remember to like and subscribe. The like and subscribe buttons are on the bottom of the screen, and enjoy the video. Thanks. Here we are looking at 638 and 636 East 9th Street. You can sort of tell that they're identical buildings. They don't look identical now, but as you can see in the photo, they were pretty much identical when they were built. Only one of them is listed as a synagogue, however. Only one of them is listed as a synagogue, which is the one to my left, the lighter colored one. And in the photos, you can see that it's the only one that had the Star of David's on the roof. The building next door was a community center, and also next door to that is a still standing, at the time it was a public school, but all 3 of these buildings are pretty impressive. We're looking at 638 and 636 from a different angle, and this one is the public school that was standing next to them. And all of these were built in around 1890 and were used probably into the 1940s until they were abandoned, and remarkably still, maintain a lot of the detail work that they were. By the way, it's a really terrible day out here. It's pouring rain and very cold. And here we are at 631 East 6th Street. And this was a synagogue by the name of the First Zabrauer Sikh Benevolent Association. And it's not in use anymore. There's this pretty nice stone panel up above the doorway. Let me zoom in on it. This was probably built in the 20s and probably was used through the 1940s. This is 415 East 6th Street. And it's a beautiful synagogue. It was erected, you can even see where it says it was erected in 1910. I don't even have to look at my notes. And it's gotten quite a lot of attention lately because it was preserved beautifully, in my opinion, especially the stained glass window. The name is the Adat Israel Anshe Mizrahi, and I think I have that pronunciation down. Probably survived up until the mid-1940s or 50s, but it was abandoned. It stayed abandoned for a number of years until recently, when it was converted into apartments. Or it might actually be one residential unit inside rather than apartments. 526 East 5th Street was formerly the B'nai Shalom temple or synagogue, and it's, I think, one of the most expensive townhouses in the East Village right now. But anyway, I'm not going to linger too long because it's really raining now, as you can see, and this is the last stop on our tour for today. It's 62 East 4th Street, and it's actually one of my favorite buildings. In the 1880s, it was built. It actually contains, still to this day, a couple of theaters. It also had a restaurant. I believe it was on the 3rd floor. The owner of the establishment lived on the top 2 floors with his family. And it had this very unusual spiral staircase on the outside, sort of as a fire escape. You can't really see it very well. It's underneath the meshing. But, and there are still some theaters inside, and I think there was also a bar on the ground floor or down in the basement. It's quite a place. And it was also a congregation later on, probably towards the end of the 19th century. We're over here at 26 East 4th Street, and this is now a Baptist church, but at the time when it was built, which is probably around 1890, it was the Lemberg congregation Anshe Ashkenaz. It's still quite a beautiful building, and there's quite a few remnants of when it was a synagogue, as you can see. We're here at 289 East 4th Street, and this building does survive. It's been somewhat modified, not too much, and it's just down the block from several other sites of former synagogues. This one, you know, honestly, I have to confess, if I try to pronounce the name of it, I know I'm just going to mangle it. It was quite a long name, and so anyway, I'm not gonna try to pronounce it because I know I'll do a terrible job. And it's right down the block from where 281 was located quite a long time ago. So we're here in front of 326 East 4th Street, which was a synagogue, and also 328, which was not. But these buildings have been added to. There's a couple of extra floors on top. The way they appeared back in the early 1900s was just the first 3 floors. This is another name I'm really just not going to try and pronounce it. It's several words long, the name of the congregation, but I am going to write them so you can see what the original names were. This is 85 East 4th Street, just off 2nd Avenue. It's slightly to the west of 2nd Avenue. And this was a synagogue by the name of Lodzer, Chevra, Agadath, Achim, or Achim. This is 61 East 4th Street. And even though it looks like an industrial building, I'm pretty sure it was at some point, it was also a synagogue. It was known as Agadath, Achim, Anshai, Mishnitz, 61 East 4th Street, just off of Bowery. Bowery is right over there. This is 281 East 4th Street, and as you can see, it's just a vacant lot now. There's nothing left. Although there's quite a few buildings left on the block, but not this particular one. But we have a photo of it.